Maximum guys try and win girls with items, looks, or appeal, and that is precisely why they are forgotten. But Machiavelli saw deeper. He knew something darker, something maximum men by no means recognize. The intention is not to be appreciated, it is to be unforgettable, now not via fascinating her, but by controlling what she feels when you're gone. On this video, you may research 9 dark psychological frameworks stimulated by means of Machiavelli, designed to trigger obsession without saying a phrase of flattery. No chasing, no acting, no begging for love. You'll learn how to end up the person she cannot explain, but additionally can't forestall thinking about. Watch intently, because after you see how this works, you may by no means play the game like a mean guy again. The strength of fear over love. There is a quote with the aid of Machiavelli that maximum men forget about, now not because it's wrong, however, because it's uncomfortable. It's far an awful lot more secure to be feared than cherished. At the beginning, this sounds merciless, like something handiest a villain would trust. But look carefully, no longer at what humans say, however, at what they do. Watch how women behave round distinct forms of guys, and that sentence makes sense. Love can experience warm, software type. It's the emotion all of us crave, however, additionally the only we without problems take without any consideration. While love is constantly there, constantly giving, usually smooth, it loses its weight. It becomes history noise, safe, sure, but also forgettable, and right here's where maximum guys fall. They suppose love is enough. They trust that in the event that they deliver greater, show greater, open up extra, she'll value it. But what takes place? She stops feeling it. Due to the fact what is freely given without assignment holds no energy. Now enter fear, not the sort that hurts, no longer yelling, not manipulate, not violence. It truly is weak point looking to look like strength, and women can scent it. Real worry is while a person has obstacles so firm she feels them without him announcing a phrase. He does not need to raise his voice. He does not need to argue. He does not want to explain his worth. He definitely moves away, and the silence teaches her what words never should. This man doesn't chase. He would not give an explanation for why he turned into harm. He would not beg for her to stay. He, in reality, lets her experience the absence, and that absence hits tougher than any emotional outburst. Due to the fact the moment she realizes he is severe, the sport changes. She knows he may not spoil his very own guidelines just to hold her. She knows that if she disrespects him, she loses him, and that's when attraction will become obsession. Not because he gave her more, but because he become inclined to present not anything when his values had been crossed. This is fear, not the concern of a person, but the fear of dropping a person she cannot manage. And right here's the mental mystery. Maximum women aren't enthusiastic about being cherished. They're captivated with the person who would not want their like to sense whole. It truly is why women chase the man who walks away. It is why they respect the only who would not fold. It's why they maintain thinking about the man who in no way begged. He wasn't mean, he wasn't merciless, he was just unshakable. He had something 99% of guys do not. Standards that weren't for sale. So when Machiavelli said it is safer to be feared than loved, he wasn't rejecting love. He changed into coaching you that admire must come first. That without worry of loss, love becomes lazy. And that the private desire comes not from what you deliver, but from what you are inclined to eliminate if she does not fee it. So remember this, she may love you. She may additionally experience your employer. However, if she does not fear dropping you, you are replaceable. But if she knows deep down which you won't stay, in which you are not respected, you'll by no means need to ask for her interest again, due to the fact she'll be the one preventing to earn yours. That is not cruelty, that's mental gravity. It truly is dark appeal. And that's the energy of worry over love. Grasp the photo. Machiavelli once stated something brutally simple and terrifyingly true. It isn't important to be precise. It is vital to appear properly. This one sentence breaks the spell most guys live under. Due to the fact from formative years, we're educated in a lie. In case you're kind, dependable, hardworking, and honest, human beings will appreciate you. Girls will desire you. The world will reward you, however it might not, because the arena would not see your truth. It sees your presentation. You can be dependable. You could be shrewd. You could have deep values and noble reason. But if you show up with weak posture, uncertain tone, anxious energy, no person will feel your worth, especially now not a girl. Due to the fact girl appeal doesn't start with data. It starts with perception. Now not what are you, however what do I experience whilst I'm round you. She's not reading your logic. She's scanning your energy, how you walk, how you speak, the way you react while tested. And that is where an image turns into power. This is not about lying. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're now not. It is approximately framing. Due to the fact human beings do not respond to fact. They respond to what feels true. And if you do not manage how you're visible, a person else, her feelings, her biases, her past will outline you for her. So, what does this imply in action? Whilst you experience uncertain, stand like a person who's positive. While you experience anger, talk like a man who controls hearth. While you want to chase her, do not anything. Let her come toward you. Due to the fact in stillness is strength. In thriller is appeal. Permit her see 80% of who you are. Go away the rest at the back of your eyes. Allow her creativeness fill in the gaps. And what she creates in her thoughts will frequently be a long way more powerful than whatever you assert. Because thriller is magnetic, and human beings don't chase what they completely recognize. They chase what they cannot quite draw close. This is how obsession begins, no longer with oversharing, however with silence. Now, not with convincing, however with presence. So forestall explaining yourself. Prevent trying to be understood. Begin shaping your photo. Due to the fact in a world ruled by perception, photo isn't just everything. It is the game. Be the lion and the fox. Every woman will check you, not to hurt you, but to see in case you ruin. She'll shift her tone. She'll shy away. She'll cross bloodless, then warm, then cold again. She'll say one component and do any other, and all of it's far to look one thing. Do you fall apart or do you preserve? Most guys do not even realize they are being examined. They think she's stressed or emotional. So they give an explanation for, they apologize. They are trying to repair things with phrases, and much like that, they lose the game. But Machiavelli centuries in the past gave the blueprint. A powerful guy need to be each a lion and a fox. The lion is strength. He would not chase. He would not explain. He creates obstacles with his silence. He commands the room without raising his voice. The fox is intelligence. He would not react to bait. He doesn't display his hand. He listens and strikes while the moment is smooth. And right here's the lure most guys fall into. If you're simplest, the lion, sturdy, direct, forceful, she'll discover a manner to initiate you. And when you explode, she sees you as unstable. Your energy will become noise. In case you're only the fox, smart, calm, calculating, she'll experience your appeal, but now not your backbone. And without that fireplace, she might not consider you to steer. But if you are each, if she sees strength on your stillness and calculation on your silence, she won't understand how to are expecting you. And that uncertainty, that anxiety, that is what hooks her deeper than phrases ever ought to. So how do you encompass both? When she's emotional, be the fox. Watch, don't react. Let her test crash against your calm. When she crosses a line, be the lion, now not with anger, no longer with threats, however with presence. A stillness that says, that is my boundary and that I won't move. That is the man she respects, not because you yell, however due to the fact you do not cringe. Now not because you provide an explanation for, but due to the fact you do not need to. She won't apprehend a way to play you because you do not play. You watch, you wait, you act when it topics. Its strength, now not noise, not charm, but the fusion of electricity and silence. The lion protects your recognize. The fox protects your thoughts, and together they make you unforgettable. Divider international. Machiavelli's oldest law of electricity was easy. Divide and overcome. However, this isn't always only for empires. It works quietly within the human thoughts. You do not manage a lady by using pressure. You do not fight her ideals head on. You see doubt and allow her do the rest. Due to the fact whilst a woman feels certain, she's on top of things. She is aware of what she wants. She feels grounded, safe. Your intention, now not to smash her ideals, but to make her query them. Simply one small sudden shift. Not an argument, a suggestion. She says, I hate jealous guys. You smile, calm, playful. That's what you think. Now that one sentence creates a crack, small, innocent, however deep. Now her thoughts start spinning. What did he mean? Do I truly accept as true with that? Why did that live in my head? That's how department starts off evolved, not among you and her, but interior her. While part of her still agrees with herself, however, any other component starts off evolved to surprise. She loses manipulate of the narrative. And you're the one who planted it. This is not approximately manipulate through stress. It's manipulate through mental tension. Most men avoid this. They rush to accept as true with her, to be preferred. They make her sense safe, verified, positive. However, reality does not appeal to. Tension does. Because while she's torn, while she feels curious, conflicted, unsure, her feelings leave open. And in that openness, your have an effect on grows. Do not fight her ideals. Simply tap them as soon as with calm. Then permit silence do the paintings. She'll argue with herself, and without knowing it, you've got entered her thoughts. Not as a threat, however, as a mystery. It truly is Machiavellian seduction. No longer dominance, not drama. Surgical precision. Power that does not sense like power because it seems like interest. And curiosity. It truly is the hook that continues her circling you, even whilst you say nothing in any respect. Praise in doses, punish unexpectedly. Machiavelli, as soon as stated, injuries need to be inflicted all at once, but advantages have to be given little by little. This isn't just political approach, it is emotional manage, and it really works in present-day relationships higher than maximum realize. Here's the reality. Whilst a person crosses your boundary, you do not react emotionally, you do not argue, you do not explain. You act. One clean, bloodless move. Silence, distance, withdrawal, no shouting, no coaching, no guilt tripping, simply the surprising loss of your presence. And that absence, it stings. Why? Because there may be not anything to push in opposition to. She's left on my own with her very own thoughts and her personal guilt. Her brain starts off evolved spinning. What did I do wrong? Why did he stop speak me? Is he long gone for right? And that silence becomes a reflect. Now on the opposite side comes the praise, but no longer abruptly. Whilst she's loyal, when she's heat, while she suggests recognize, you supply her something small, rare, earned, a glance, a diffused smile, a compliment that feels real. Then not anything. You don't shower her with love. You do not make her feel she has you. You train her fearful gadget much like an online casino. She does not understand when the following reward is coming. So she keeps playing. This is what makes it addictive. Now not the dimensions of the praise, but the timing. Too many men opposite the formula. They punish too frequently. They reward too quickly. They turn out to be emotional, risky, predictable. But you punish once. No caution, no drama, only a line crossed and silence. And whilst she's to your body again, you reward her slowly with just sufficient to hold her hungry. This isn't always cruelty. This is subject. It is Machiavellian psychology wrapped in calm managed due to the fact ache given speedy is remembered and satisfaction given slow is craved. Now you're no longer just a man, you are a system she cannot prevent walking. Watch her intently, then say one line. Most men take a look at a female's body. A Machiavellian guy watches her conduct. He's not distracted by means of beauty. He doesn't stare with lust. He observes with silence and precision. He notices how she speaks when she's with a person she respects versus when she's with a person she controls. He tracks the subtle shifts, how her voice softens, how her gaze glints, how her posture modifications depending on who is looking. He can pay attention to while she's acting, and whilst she drops the act, no questions, no compliments, just presence. Due to the fact even as different guys attempt to input her body, he has already entered her psychology. After which, whilst the moment opens, now not before, not after, he drops one line, calm, particular, without emotion. You speak differently while he's around. Otherwise you snigger, but it does not sense actual. No judgment, no tone, no smile. Then silence, and in that moment, her truth shifts because that wasn't flattery. That wasn't something she should snicker off. That was reality. She wasn't geared up to pay attention. From a man who failed to ask for her approval, and the woman thoughts, it does not forget about moments like that. It replays them. Wait, how did he recognize that? What else is he seeing? Became I that apparent? Has he been looking this whole time? Now she does not experience trendy. She feels uncovered, and not via pressure, not by means of strain, with the aid of presence. You failed to demand interest. You didn't combat for manage. You really watched what all and sundry else missed and stated what no person else dared to. This is mental dominance. It is no longer loud. It's now not competitive. It's quiet strength that leaves echoes in her mind lengthy after you've got walked away. Because when you say the one aspect that touches part of her no one ever noticed, you depart a mark. She can neglect compliments. She will be able to overlook flings, but she may not forget about the man who noticed her masks and named it. Not to hurt her, however, to remind her, you aren't just like the others. You don't need her photograph. You spot the machine in the back of it, and once she feels that, you live in her mind, even whilst you vanish from her sight. Manipulate via absence. If you're always available, constantly responding, usually gift, you end up predictable, and predictable is forgettable. But when you disappear without warning, without drama, without rationalization, you become unforgettable. Now, not because you punished her, no longer because you ignored her, however, because you created a void, and the lady mind, it can't face up to a void. It has to fill it. It has to understand what went lacking and why. Whilst you move silent, her thoughts begins to talk louder than ever. She replays your final conversation. She rewinds each glance, each pause, every phrase you did not say. She searches for clues that are not there. Did I do something incorrect? Why hasn't he reached out? Become he simply pretending to care? Now she's not enjoying your attention. She's haunted with the aid of your absence, and that is the key. Because where most guys overexplain, overgive, overstay, you vanish. Without a goodbye, without a combat, not to create pain, however, to create area. And in that space, she begins imagining you. She begins remembering you now not as you had been, but as something larger, less warm, more powerful. Now you are no longer a man, you're an unresolved query, a ghost of unfinished. That means this is not cruelty. It is psychological contrast. You provide warmth, then take it away. You show presence, then retreat into shadow. And that shift, that emotional whiplash, it hits deeper than any compliment ever may want to. but pay attention intently. You do not disappear out of anger. You don't use it as a trick. You use it whilst your fee is being taken for granted. Due to the fact timing subjects, absence most effective works while presence had electricity. And while you go back calm, unfazed, unmoved, she might not greet you with anger. She'll greet you with curiosity and fear due to the fact she is aware of you could walk away at any time and now not draw back. That's not manipulation, that is gravity, and gravity doesn't chase, it pulls. So disappear just lengthy sufficient for her to surprise if she ever simply had you at all. Be her turning point. If you need to live in her thoughts forever, do not just be a man she appreciated. Be the moment her international changed, now not the boyfriend, not the fling. Be the shift in her story. The reality is, girls do not take into account all the guys they date, but they in no way forget the man who induced something deep internal them, something emotional, something they did not even recognize turned into waiting to be visible. This is not approximately presence, appears, or allure. It is about impact. Say what others are too afraid to say. Appearance her in the attention and name what she hides. No longer to shame her, but to reveal her you spot her. No longer just her surface, now not her splendor, however her fact. And when you do this without seeking praise, without attempting to affect, you don't simply enter her lifestyles, you restructure it. Freud once said, emotional reminiscence shapes preference. People crave what marks them emotionally. And Machiavelli, he understood that the man who controls the story controls the thoughts. So control it now, not by means of forcing it, however, by means of becoming the chapter she can't rewrite. Perhaps you were the first man who didn't chase her, the primary one who set a well-known and in fact walked away when it was crossed. Maybe you challenged her ideals, made her pause, made her query who she become. And you then left, no longer sour, no longer begging, simply long gone, however no longer honestly, because in her mind you stayed. You have become the person tied to her transformation, and that form of presence, it does not fade with time. She would possibly circulate on, she might chuckle, she might even neglect your name out loud. However, she'll in no way overlook the model of herself that become born when you. Due to the fact in her mystery world, at the back of each smile, there's a reminiscence that whispers, he changed me. And once you emerge as the turning factor in a female's story, you no longer need to fight for area in her coronary heart. Final phrases, manage begins right here. Permits be clean. These are not just traces. They're not tricks. They're not pickup methods. They're mental systems built to press deep hidden switches in the woman's thoughts. Switches that shift her from common sense to obsession, from control to craving. Most guys try to get her attention. They joke, they chase, they carry out. However, what you are constructing right here is presence, the type of presence that does not make her snigger. It makes her pause, think, feel, even when she doesn't want to. You're now not here to entertain her. You're not here to show something. You're not her fan, her follower, or her therapist. You are the person who shifts her center of gravity, not by shouting, now not with the aid of beautiful, but via pronouncing the only thing that cuts through her defenses and leaving it there. You create silence, you create thriller, you create area in her thoughts that she cannot fill with anybody else. This isn't softness, that is precision. And most guys will by no means understand it due to the fact they're too hooked on approval to peer the shape behind emotion. But if something interior you shifted at the same time as watching this, if a deeper instinct in you woke up, then this isn't always just a video. This is a sign which you're accomplished gambling the sport like every person else. That you're carried out begging for love, affection, or attention, which you're ready to build gravity in preference to chasing validation. So, here's what I want from you. If this message hits something actual in you, comment the phrase manipulate below. One word, no clarification. It tells me you're now not here for amusement. You're here to take the wheel. And if you're equipped to find out how deep this goes, in case you need to master appeal, energy, and emotional dominance in silence, subscribe now, because what is coming next may not just display you the way to win her. It's going to show you the way to turn out to be the sort of guy who does not need to